highlights of that, okay? And Adam is working as we speak. Anything you can tell us right now, Adam, or do we need to come right back to you?
Yeah, Laura, a few things. John Franklin Myers, the former Broncos, he's signing with the Titans for 3 years, $63 million, $42 guaranteed, and Charlie Kohler is signing with the Chargers. So he's signing a 3-year, $24.3 million deal with the Los Angeles Chargers. There's a lot going on here. I apologize. We got to get these things updated, Laura.
Yeah,
Sorry
listen,
about that.
no, do not apologize. You're trying to
do your work. Do your work,
talk
Shefty.
at the same time. Adam, by the way, sign up. That thing on your screen right there. What is that thing called? The scan
QR
thing?
code.
Thank you. Sign up
get up and
on
walk
the
around,
screen
Adam.
for some breaking news alerts. Let's go to John Franklin Myers. Information from Jeremy. We'll get back to Adam in moments as more breaking news comes in. But what do we know about
Franklin
that deal?
Myers, Tennessee Titans. Robert Saleh gets his man from the Jets. 3 years, $63 million, $42 million guaranteed. So he was one of those names that was a hot name that might have surprised some people. Not a household name, but he's got pass rush, interior D-line. Those guys are pretty rare in free agency, so he got paid.
It's that familiarity again, right? So when you have coaches in front office, people who know you, or rather you can vouch to the front office as a coach for a certain player, hey, those are kind of deals you're looking for. That's exactly the situation you want.
All right, we've seen some tight ends get paid as well. Ravens tight end Charlie Kohler, you just heard Adam talking about that. There's a lot of money to be spent, already a lot that's been spent, okay? And here's what we've got to look at. As far as the potential big spenders this offseason, the Raiders have the most space at $119 million, followed by the Titans, Commanders, Chargers, and Jets. We've already seen the Raiders go for a big splash with Tyler Linderbaum, presumably, to protect Fernando Mendoza. Adam, tell us more about the Linderbaum deal.
Well, it is the biggest deal given to an interior offensive lineman ever. The Raiders and Ravens were busy on Friday night sending Maxx Crosby to the Ravens, and now, in an indirect way, Tyler Linderbaum now goes back to the Raiders on a 3-year, $81 million deal, $27 million a year. Ask Lewis what he thinks of $27 million a year for a center. And it's interesting, his agent was Neil Cornrich, who did a deal at the outset of free agency for Kirk Loudermilk to become the highest paid center of the first year of free agency. Anyway, Jalen Naylor goes back to Las Vegas, where he's from. A 3-year, $35 million deal, including 23 guaranteed. So there are two big pickups for the Las Vegas Raiders. As for the tight ends we talked about before, Isaiah Likely goes to the New York Giants, reunites with John Harbaugh, his head coach, on a 3-year, $40 million deal with the New York Giants, who added a weapon for Jackson Dart. John Harbaugh knows exactly how good Isaiah Likely is, and they signed him today. The Ravens lose 2 tight ends, Likely to the Giants, and, of course, Kohler to the Chargers. Maxx Crosby gets traded for 2 first-round draft picks. That was Friday night. The Ravens got back the future Hall of Fame defensive end from Maxx Crosby, and it's a huge deal for the 2 first-round picks, and now the Raiders have the 1st and 14th overall pick in the draft, and the Ravens have a prized defensive end.
We're back to you in just moments, Adam. He will continue to work the phones. This news keeps coming in as you see him go right back to the phone, literally. Now there's a little crossover here with the Ravens and the Raiders. You heard Adam mentioning some of it. When you think about the Maxx Crosby deal, first of all, we haven't had a chance to really comment on that yet. What comes to mind for what the Ravens are getting?
The Ravens went out and did the obvious. This was a team that couldn't rush the passer. Like, let's be real, and that was a huge reason this defense wasn't what it had been in the past years. You couldn't get to the quarterback with 4. Now you're bringing extra pressure. Kyle Hamilton had to do everything. You go out and get Maxx Crosby. I'm going to steal Mike Tannenbaum's word that he loves. It is a force multiplier, and not just based on what he brings physically to the football game. The intangibles of leadership and effort, all of those things go into playing football the Ravens way. If anybody should play for the Raiders and then play for the Ravens, it's a guy like Maxx Crosby.
Right?
He has that sort of personality.
And then on the other side of this, you see the Raiders say, all right, we're going to draft Fernando Mendoza. We need to do something to protect him. And they do that. That's Jeremy's mic still hot there. Just want to make sure we can cut that off. How about Jeremy's working, Adam's working. How about bringing Linderbaum in and saying this is going to be a key piece? The center is so important for a young quarterback.
Yeah, right. Front to back, down the middle. That's how you build your football team. Adam said, look, ask Lou what he thinks about what they paid Tyler Linderbaum at $27 million per year. Do you know who's number 2 in average per year at the center position in the NFL? It's Creed Humphrey. Guess what Creed makes? 18. So he topped this by $9 million average per year. He blew this right out of the water.
My question is,
him and his agent tonight are having a good time.
How does that conversation go for the executives, though, when you know you're blowing the highest paid out of the water in such a way, especially for an interior offensive lineman?
Yeah, I think here one, you know this, right? So it used to be in the first 24 to 48 hours of free agency, when it used to be like it kicked off at midnight. You knew then, look, if you're going to play in that market at that time, you know you're going to be market resetters. You just are, because that's just what happens at that time. The best players come off the board the fastest, and so you want to make sure. And you don't know exactly what other players have kind of in their pocket. So you're going to say, hey, look, if I have the cap space, and we obviously have the cash out there in Las Vegas, we're going to make sure we don't lose this guy, because we know who we're drafting number one.
Right.
And the dude who he's going to be tied to, we got to make sure he's straight. So we're going to get the best guy out there. We're going to blow this market out of the water by $9 million per year. And Tyler, hey. You throw on the tape, though, Ryan. But he's legit. He's a legit player.
Well, also, the other piece of it is this, though. When you're going to have a rookie quarterback, you want a veteran force that can set the protection, right? That can lead the offense. And now it takes some of that off of Fernando Mendoza, if he is the first overall pick, to where he doesn't have to be acclimating himself to the pro game and also delegating and dictating everything offensively.
Ashton Genty is going.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Lou, I mean, yes, Ashton Genty, who I still believe is an incredible running back in this game. We did not get to see what that was because he didn't have anything to run behind last year. Jeremy is back. Anything you need to share? We're going to wait.
I was just putting the finishing touches on the John Franklin Myers deal.
Love it.
Bengals were well above $20 million on an interior lineman. So the Bengals are going to be really busy on the D line. San Francisco 49ers, those were the two that were in on him.
They need to just stay on the D line.
Just
sign everybody.
In free agency, in the draft, in every possible place. Okay.
Anybody who can play defense.
Exactly. We continue to keep you updated on all the action. And as you can see, some of the highlighted names are the big names that are off the board. Some huge ones. Mike Evans goes to the 49ers. Isaiah Likely goes to reunite with John Harbaugh there in New York. He goes from the Ravens. There's still plenty, though, that have yet to find their spots. We'll keep you updated on all of that. Kyler Murray, a big name that we'll keep an eye out for. That, of course, maybe not until later in the week, of course. And here's some notable moves from the Chiefs today. They've been busy. First, we got news that Travis Kelce plans to re-sign. They also added Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker and defensive tackle Khyiris Tonga. They agreed to trade corner Trent McDuffie to Rams for 4 picks, including the number 29 pick in this year's draft. So they add more picks. They let corner Jalen Watson go to the Rams in free agency. Look at Patrick Mahomes. He's pumped about adding Kenneth Walker, and I agree he should be pumped, because when you think about what their offense will look like with a player like Kenneth Walker in the fold, Lewis, what comes to mind, especially knowing that they may be a little slower out the gates getting Patrick Mahomes healthy?
Yeah, look, Brett Veach, their general manager, said this at the Combine in his media availability. He said one of the number one ways we can help Patrick Mahomes is really to improve the run game. Simple as that. He's got to have somebody to turn around and hand the football off to, that even if it's not getting, Ryan, even if it's not getting 4+, which is really what the line of demarcation, like you want to get 4+ running the football, you still have a credible threat. Kenneth Walker showed you he can do that. Kenneth Walker showed you, he put the hurt on some people in the postseason with those thick lower body legs that he's got right there, and the home run speed that he has. And you know what? Exactly. So it's the explosives, right? That's what they're after. They would have loved to obviously have sat there and probably thought, you know what, we can get Jeremiah Love. There's no question about it. But you know that they can't.
Yeah, don't wait on
that. You know that they can't.
He's going to go before 9,
that's right.
right?
And you know as a GM, look, you're trying to fill as many needs as possible in free agency. So the draft, you don't have to force, and you let it come to you.
You know what this also shows, though? It's so good to be on a great team, right? Having those extra games in those big moments, that matters. It puts you on a stage in front of people.
You're talking about for Kenneth.
Yeah, for Kenneth Walker. It puts you on a stage in front of people when nobody else is playing. And when you're making people miss in the backfield, when you're turning 4-yard runs into 40-yard runs, and you're a team like the Kansas City Chiefs that say, wait, we're going to get our quarterback killed if we can't run the football. The other thing is, right, going back to Eric Bieniemy and saying we need to change the way we focus on the run game strategically, because this run game was stale. And so I think this focus is, let's protect Patrick Mahomes and give him opportunities to heal as we are still continuing to compete and try to win.
I saw EB at the Combine, Eric Bieniemy. Dude is fired up. He's fired. That may look. I know that you can't really say, well, you know, he's not a free agent acquisition. He's coming back into the fold. He's coming back home. He's back with Andy. That may be the most important thing they've done this offseason.
That's a good point.
That dude going back there, he is going to crack some heads when he gets there. And that team's going to be held accountable on the offensive side of the football in a way that maybe it wasn't being.
Well, and I'm going to say, I know we got to go. I'm sorry, Chad. Like, that's the other thing. So many times you hear people who don't understand Eric Bieniemy talk about the fiery way he coaches, the way that he holds you accountable. Kansas City knew they lost that. Kansas City knew there wasn't someone that would get in Patrick Mahomes' face or Travis Kelce's face or that was willing to have that confrontation. This team needs confrontation. They need to get back to competing and wanting to win in a way like they have not had it. And I love going to Eric Bieniemy, but also bringing in Kenneth Walker, giving him some firepower to work with.
You know that they want to win, right?
Yeah.
And they're accustomed to winning. Now, you guys are mentioning getting that run game going in a different way. Look at this. Over these last few seasons, Patrick Mahomes has been their leading rusher. I mean, that's
great. You can't have that.
Patrick Mahomes run like his feet hurt.
You can't have
he
that.
He does get some sneaky yards in there, but golly,
but I mean, you know what? The last time,
it got him hurt.
Good point.
The last time they had a 1K rusher was that guy on the far right, Kareem Hunt, the year before Patrick took over as the starting running back, as the starting quarterback when Alex Smith was the starter.
They've got to change that, and it looks like they're on their way to doing that. So much more coming your way here on ESPN as we've got wall-to-wall free agency coverage. The NFL changes today. A lot of teams getting better, teams looking toward the future, trying to make sure they can become Super Bowl contenders. Adam Schefter working the phone. This is his day. He continues to break news and has done so all day long. More news from Adam on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.